Hi everyone! Welcome to our series on Basic English for Life. We are going through some highly requested basic grammar concepts you need for your everyday life and use the topic of organizing a party. Now, we are going to clear up a common source of confusion. This might ruin your plans when you make a reservation if you get it wrong. Namely, how to say and write the date in American English. In the US, we usually start with the month, followed by the day, and then the year. This might be different from what you're used to, depending on where you live. Think of it this way. You go from the smallest number to the largest number. We have 12 a month up to 31 days, and then the year, which is the largest number. Remember, it's month, day, year. I'm pretty sure you will remember it forever. But now let's talk about how to say numbers larger than 1,000. For example, you can say $1,500, but there's also a very common way of saying it, $1,500. Why would we use $1,500? Simply because it's shorter and more efficient. Americans like to save time and characters. You also use 1,500 when you're giving an approximate number. For example, the catering for the Christmas party is going to cost around $1,500. Like this video if you learned something new today. Prepositions of time and place can be really confusing, but here are some quick tips for you. When you want to say the day, you use on. For example, on the weekend, on Saturday, on Sunday. When you want to say the time, you use at. For example, the party is at 5 p.m. or the party starts at 8 p.m. And if the party is in a specific month, you use in. For example, the party is in January or the party is in February. So remember, with days you use on, with exact times you use at, and with month you use in. Okay, what about places? When you want to talk about being at a specific location, you use at. For example, at home, at a restaurant, or at the party venue. When you are inside a building or an enclosed space, you use in. For example, in the house, in the party hall, or in the kitchen. They say the best party is always in the kitchen, right? And when something is on a surface, you use on. For example, on the table where the snacks are, on the dance floor, or on the wall with the decorations. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more tips on organizing a party. Okay, so we still have a lot to do with this party. Let's get started. Let's see how many guests we're going to invite. I would say let's invite 20 guests. I use many because I can count the number of guests. And how much rice should I cook for the party? I use much because rice is an uncountable noun. The rule of thumb is, if you can count the number of things, you use many. If you cannot count, or it is an abstract thing like love, or ingredients like flour, milk, you use much. Tell me, how much time did you spend with learning English today? Let me know in the comments. We're going to talk about appropriate behavior when you are invited to a dinner party to someone's house, especially if you're not familiar with their customs and culture. You might have no idea how to eat their national food or whether you should take off your shoes or keep them on. So here are some useful phrases you can use to ask about what's appropriate. For example, you can ask, is it okay to use my fingers? Or is it appropriate to use my fingers? You can also ask, is it alright to wear shoes inside? Or is it alright if I wear shoes inside? The answers you might receive could vary. For instance, someone might say, please go right ahead, or absolutely. On the other hand, they might say, actually, it's probably better to use a fork, or normally we use a fork for this dish. If it's about shoes, they might say, it's best to remove your shoes, or nah, you really should take off your shoes, thank you. Remember, it's always better to ask, and better to be safe than sorry. What makes small talk meaningful? Genuine interest. This is probably the most important thing. Of course, you can talk about the weather or something neutral, but the best way to engage with someone and build relationships is to reflect on them. Listen carefully and reflect on what they're saying. For example, if someone mentions they recently traveled, you can say, that sounds amazing. What was your favorite part of the trip? Another tip is to look at the person and find something you genuinely like about them, then comment on it. For instance, I love your jacket. Where did you get it? This shows that you are paying attention and appreciate them. Remember, the key to meaningful small talk is showing genuine interest and reflecting on what the other person's saying.